Hello students, my name is Jadeja and I will be teaching you chapter number 15, that is improvement in food resources from grade 9. Okay, so first of all let me share you one PPT so that you can go along with my explanation. Okay. Okay, so chapter number 15, that is improvement in food resources. Now, as you all know, that when we talk about food resources or food, first thing that strikes in our mind is why we require food. Yes. Now, as you all know, that for performing any of the functions, our body requires proper amount of food. Now, if you want to have good immune system, you need energy, you need food. If you want your body to develop properly for development, for growth of your body, for good health or for immunity, we require proper amount of food. And if you see which kind of food we usually take, we have carbohydrate, proteins, fats, vitamins as well as minerals in our food. Those are basic things that we have in our food. Yes or no? Okay, so today we will study different resources through which we get our food. And when we talk about resources, the first thing that will strike in our mind is we have basically two resources of food. One is plant and second is animal. Now, animals usually gives us milk, or you can say egg or meat. But on the other hand, if we talk about plants, we have plenty of options. Okay, we have vegetables, we have fruits, we have pulses, we have grains and so on. Okay, so as you know, plants are the source which can prepare their own food. With the help of photosynthesis, plants can prepare their own food, so they are known as autotrophs. They are the only organisms, living organisms, who can prepare their own food, and plant is our major source of food. Yes, so we will study different resources of food with help of which we can gain more yield, or we can get different byproducts of food. Okay, so first thing, that is major sources of food, that is plants and animals, and that we can obtain by agriculture as well as animal husbandry. Now, prior people used to do different things, like different practices were being made with help of which agriculture was developed. Mixed farming and intercropping, I have mentioned both of them. So mixed farming was like there was a farming done in which crops, along with crops, they also cultivated livestock. Now, maybe they'll grow rice. Along with rice, as you all know, that rice requires a lot of water, right, in the field. So along with that, they will develop even PC culture. PC culture means development or growing of, you can say, fishes. Okay, so both were helping each other. In mixed farming, it is like the crops will be like offering food to the livestock, and the waste from the livestock was used as fertilizers by the crops. So mixed farming, in that both of them are helping it to each other. Both of them are dependent, you can say, on each other. Okay, so that is mixed farming. Excuse me. And second is intercropping. Now, in intercropping farming, what they will do is they will farm, or they will plant two different crops which will be quite beneficial to each other. Okay, and there will be no fight for land, or there will be no competition for nutrients. Okay, both of them will have their own requirements and they won't be dominating each other. Okay, so that was intercropping. One more thing they tried, like farmers, that was like for first time when they will grow the crops, they will use a crop which will require few nutrients from the soil, and next time after getting the yield, the crop they will grow will be some, you can say, leguminous plant, which will give the nutrients which are being taken from the soil prior. So there were different practices that were being done by farmers, and with help of which they were getting good yield. Now, as you all know, that India is a land of agriculture. It is known as the land of agriculture. Okay, number of people are dependent on farming. So it is like and you know that the population of India is ever growing, it is growing very fast. Okay, so because of that, because of the increase in population, the demand of food will also increase. Okay, and for that thing we need to cultivate more and more uh, crops or more and more plants, right, through which we'll get our food resource. And because of that thing, what happened was maximum number of land was occupied by agriculture. Along with that, because of development, people are using the land for buildings, for constructing various high rise and so on. So we have less amount of land left now, and due to that we have to follow various techniques, or we have to overcome the problem of high cultivation, and that can be done by using different techniques. Now what is the solution to this problem? Like to increase the production efficiency of livestock and crops in a short, like in a short period, and you can say in a less amount of land, we need to produce more amount of yield. Okay, so for that various techniques were implemented, various researches were done by different scientists. If you know, you might have heard about this green revolution and white revolution. Now as you all know, when we talk about green revolution, means increase in the production of food or crops or grains. Okay, that is our basic necessity. You know that we require fruits and vegetables in our day-to-day life. Along with that, they also did white revolution. Various scientists worked on white revolution, that was increase in the production of milk. You know that there are various products, byproducts that are made from milk, like you can say curd or buttermilk or paneer and so on, which is quite required. Okay, but after this revolution, okay, the production was quite good, but the problem was the natural resources were being exhausted. So they were supposed to do different practices that are quite sustainable, which will not harm our environment. Okay, so after that, again, like they researched on various things, and they developed few techniques that we will study in further class. Okay, now how those yields can be developed, or how we can get more number of yield of crops, or you can say livestock, how we can increase it. As you all know, for growth and completion of crops uh, life cycle, they require few things. Basic thing, that is proper temperature, proper climate, and proper photo periods, and then they can develop more, or then they can complete their cycle nicely, life cycle nicely. You know that we require proper temperature. Okay, if temperature is too high, we feel heat. Okay, we'll be sweating, we cannot survive properly, there would be number of people who may die because of it. Okay, so in the same manner, plants as well as animals, they require few things to grow properly, and that is climatic condition, temperature, as well as photo periods. Okay, now next is as I mentioned prior, that we have two resources, one is plant and one is animal. Now plants are the only living organisms which can prepare their own food. They have chlorophyll in it, and with help of photosynthesis, in presence of sunlight, they can prepare their own food. Okay, now as you all know that there are two major kind of crops. One is kharif crop and second one is rabi crop. Now kharif you can remember as KJO, that is kharif crop, grown in month of June and October, June to October. Now crops grown in rainy season, kharif crops are usually grown in rainy season from month of June to October. The example of kharif crop are paddy, that is rice, cotton, maize, and groundnut. It is quite easy to remember. Okay, grown in rainy season from June to October, and examples are paddy, maize, cotton, and groundnut. Then we have second crop, that is rabi crop. Now rabi crop, it is a crop that is grown in winter season. Okay, they are usually grown in month of November to April. Okay, so this you can remember as RNA, rabi crop RNA, that is rabi crop from November to April. Okay, and examples are wheat, then barley, we have pea and gram. Okay, These 4 examples are quite enough. Okay, so kharif crop and rabi crop are 2 major crops. Now, as I mentioned, the different farming practices were being held or were being practiced, with help of which we can get a proper yield. Okay, 3 major divisions were crop variety improvement. Now, crop variety improvement means seed selection, which kind of seed we want, the seed which has good quality, which is quite disease resistance, or the seed which will give us good yield. Okay, so selection of seed is quite important. So first we will study crop variety improvement, then we will study crop production management. Now, crop production, once we have sown the seed, there are different things that we need to take care of, like nurturing of the crops. We need to give manure to the crops, fertilizers to the crop, proper irrigation should be done, so that our crop will be nurtured nicely, it will grow very nicely, and then we can get proper amount of yield. So that we will study under crop production management. And third, we have crop protection management. Now, crop protection management means storage and protection. Once we got the yield, once we harvested the crop, we need to store it properly. We need to protect it from various insecticides or insects or pests and so on. And through insecticides and pesticides, we can protect our crop. So storage is must. Okay, it should be nicely done, so that we can sell the product and we can get good amount of money. Okay, now next we have, that is crop variety improvement. We will study crop variety improvement in detail. Now, as I told, selection of seed is one important thing that we have to learn. Now, why this crop variety improvement is needed, or like how we can do it. Okay, now you see, the aim is to find a crop variety that gives us good yield, the production, the outcome that we are getting. Okay, after doing agriculture, after doing farming, the yield, the last product that we get should be in good amount. Okay, so crop variety requires good yield. Now, the varieties or strains of crops can be selected by breeding of various useful characteristics. Now, as I told, when we are selecting a seed, I want good yield from it. Okay, so I need to make sure that the seed which I'm selecting, which I'm sowing in the soil, should have few characteristics in it, so that I can get proper result. Now, for that we have 4 different things. One is disease resistant. You can see first picture. Okay, the seed that we are selecting should be disease resistant. The crop or the strains which we are supposed to sow in the soil should be disease resistant, so that various diseases will not like attack our crop, or it would be quite resistance to it, so it will not get damaged. Second is response to fertilizers. You can see in this picture, fertilizer are being spreaded on the field, on the crops. Okay, so we should select a strain that has a good response to fertilizer. It responds nicely and it can grow accordingly. Then we have product quality. Now, as you know that we are if I'm a farmer, I need to make sure that I give good product, good quality product to the customers. Okay, so when we are doing farming, we need to make sure that the crop which we are selecting should have good product quality. And last is high yield. I am doing so much of hard work, I am doing farming, and if I don't get proper yield after working for 4 to 5 months, if my yield is quite less, then I cannot get handsome amount of money from it. So I need to make sure that I get high yield. I select the varieties which gives me high yield. Okay, so these are 4 things that you need to remember when you are studying crop variety improvement. Okay, here you can see the yield, it is in high amount. So we need to make sure that whatever byproduct we get should be in a good amount. Okay. Okay, now as I told that there were various practices that were being done. As you know that the first thing, like how we can get desirable characteristics or desirable product of our crop, first technique was hybridization. Now, hybridization means crossing between 2 dissimilar plants, or you can say genetically dissimilar crops which are having different characteristics, and we will cross between them, and the byproduct which will get, the generation that will get, have like characteristics of both of them. Now, as you might be knowing, if we take our example, okay, we have characteristics of our father as well as mother. At times it would be like, if we see in any of the child, like a few characteristics would be resembling to mother, like hair color, or you can say color of eye or skin tone, okay, that would be resembling to mother. And on the other hand, like nature or their height, or you can say physical appearance may be like father. So the offspring would be having characteristics of both of them. Okay, so hybridization means crossing between genetically dissimilar plants. Okay, so we will get characteristics of both our father as well as our mother. Same way in plants also, there are different characteristics that can be like that we can get in one single plant with help of hybridization. Okay, there are specifically three types of hybridization. One is intervarietal hybridization, that is between different varieties. We have different variety, one is wheat and one is rice, or we have any other variety of crop and we will cross it. Okay, second is interspecific. Interspecific means between two different species. Now see, here you can see a diagram of flower, okay, a flowering plant. So this is intervarietal. You can say one is red color, one is yellow color plant, and the offspring that we will get is having both combination of yellow and red. So this is known as hybridization, intervarietal hybridization. If you talk about interspecific hybridization, it is between two different species of same family. Now here you can take example of mango. Okay, now we have number of mango species are same. Okay, combination of, like if we take example of kesar, okay, it is combination of two different species of mango hybrided, and the offspring that we'll get is kesar. Okay, so it will be having good characteristics in it. Next is intergeneric, means between two different genera. Totally we are taking two different genus and we are breeding it, and then we are getting the desired characteristics. So these were different techniques that were used. We also have genetically modified crops. Now introducing a gene that would provide desired characteristics. I want my plant to have disease resistant characteristics. So what I'll do, I will introduce a gene in the plant which will have disease resistance characteristics in it, and I will get it in my offspring. So that is genetically modified crops. Whichever characteristic we want, like for good quality or for high yield, we can introduce a gene in it from any other crop or plant, and we can get that characteristic. Okay. Next we need to study why we need to require variety improvement, or why we require various factors in a crop. Okay, as I told, a farmer, the one who is doing all this thing, the one who is farming, if he or she is not beneficial from this, then it is useless, or it is quite it is not quite helpful to them. Okay, so we need to make sure that a few factors are there that they get in their crop. One is higher yield. Now increase in production of the yield which they are getting. Whichever crop they are growing, need to make sure that they get proper amount of yield, means the last product which they are getting should be in high amount. Then second is improved quality. The quality of the product should be quite good. Now if you are checking the quality, okay, if you see wheat, then the baking quality in wheat is must. If you say pulses, protein quality in pulses is must. If we see oil seeds, we need to make sure that it has good amount of oil in it. So improved quality is must. Okay, then we have biotic and abiotic resistance. Now biotic means natural, abiotic means you can say like fertilizers and manures and all. Okay, now I like to share you one thing. Like if you say biotic resistance, okay, there are different things that you need to keep in your mind when you're talking about biotic and abiotic resistance. The crops which we are growing would be suffering from various stresses, like it would be affected by various diseases. Then there would be various insects which will affect our crop or our plant. Then there would be various nematodes or worms, you can say, in the land, which will affect our crop, and it will ultimately damage it. Then we have various abiotic factors which will be quite harmful for our crops, like you can say there would be situation of drought at times or water logging. Okay, there would be temperature issues, like extreme heat would also damage our crop or our plant. So we need to make sure that we take a seed, or we choose the variety of crop which is biotic and abiotic resistant, so that it would be quite helpful for us to maintain it, to grow it and get a product from it. Okay, then we have next, that is change in maturity duration. Now when you talk about change in maturity duration, you know that each and every crop or each and every plant has a specific maturity time in which it grows. Okay, if the maturity duration is shorter, like maturity means from sowing a seed or from sowing a crop to harvesting it, that is its maturity duration. Growing it, from sowing it up to cultivating it, up to harvesting it, if that period is short, okay, then it is quite useful for the farmers as well, because shorter duration of crop will give them chance to grow more than one crop in a year. A farmer can grow multiple number of crops in a year, and because of that, there would be decrease in cost production, so that will be quite helpful to the farmers. Next we have a wider adaptability. Now this is wider adaptability. Okay, now you know a variety of any crop or any plant can be grown under different climatic conditions, under different environment, in different areas. Everywhere temperature or climate won't be same. Okay, if you see temperature in north and south, it would be quite different. Okay, so we need to make sure that the variety that we are choosing, or the variety that we are developing, should be of wider adaptability, so that we can grow in different areas, and it would be quite stabilizing. The stabilizing crops would be there in different environment. Okay, and it can grow in different conditions. Okay, then we have last one, that is desirable agronomic characteristics. Now as I told prior, okay, in this slide we have already told, like genetically modified crops or interspecific hybridization, intervarietal, and so on. That all things will fall under this desirable agronomic characteristics. Now desirable means what? Desire means my desire is to get so and so thing. Okay, my desire is to get a bike. Okay, so I'll work on that specific thing only. Okay, so same way, desirable agronomic characteristics, there are various characteristics in plants, like there are plants which have tall branches or profuse branching. Okay, so if I want that characteristics, fodder crops, they are usually tall with profuse branching. Okay, then we have a few cereals which are quite short, which are quite dwarf. Okay, which are short in length. Okay, so that example can also be considered in desirable agronomic characteristics. Cereals, if you talk about wheat and maize, then in wheat also the length of the crop is quite short, and because of that thing, it will consume less nutrients, it will not consume extreme nutrients from the soil. So I want such characteristics in my crop, so I'll make sure that I choose desirable agronomic characteristics of crop in it. Okay, then we have various varieties of desired characteristics which will help to give high productivity. Okay, I want a good product, I want high product, so I will make sure that I choose the crop which has these characteristics in it, and I can develop it. Okay, so the factors that for which the variety improvement is done are this all. We want this all factors in our crop, so we will do variety improvement. It is selection of seed based on which factors? One is it should be giving high yield, increase in production of the yield. Second is improved quality. As I mentioned, different quality of the products like baking quality in wheat, protein quality in pulses, or oil quality in oil seeds, and so on. So we need to make sure whichever crop or whichever byproduct we are getting should have good quality in it. Biotic and abiotic resistance. Biotic means resistance to disease or worms or insects. Abiotic means resistance to cold or frost or heat and temperature or waterlogging or drought. Okay. Change in maturity duration. The duration of maturity should be shorter so that the farmers get good time in a year where they can grow more than one or two crops. Okay. Wider adaptability. The crop or the variety that we are choosing should be adaptable to different conditions, climatic conditions, so that it is quite easy for farmers to grow it in any of the areas. And desirable agronomic characteristics. Specific characteristics that we want in our crop can be done with the help of different techniques, hybridization techniques. Okay. I hope you all are clear with first topic, that is crop improvement, and various aspects through which we will get more number of yield. Second is crop production management. Crop production management means nurturing of crops. In that we will study about different manures, fertilizers, and irrigation practices that can be done to improve our crop production. Okay. I hope you got the first topic, that is crop variety improvement. Thank you.